I'd like to thank everybody for coming out here to celebrate Black history. Black history is American history. From the moment our ancestors sat, huddled, and bound aboard slave ships as their homeland receded from view. Black history has been American history. It is a proud history woven into the very fabric of this great nation. In many ways, the story of African Americans epitomizes the American dream. From slavery to civil rights to the White House, it is a uniquely inspiring yet classic tale of survival, progress, and truth, despite all odds. Friends, it is our past that gives us true meaning to our present, our fuels, that ever-burning vision of hope for a better future. Tonight, as we reflect on the past, we salute the trailblazers who gave sweat, blood, tears, and sometimes their very lives to make this African-American story, this American story possible. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Benjamin Banneker.
I'm Victor Harley. I will be reading on Benjamin Banneker. A free black who owned a farm near Baltimore, Banneker was largely self-educated in astronomy by watching the stars and mathematics, by reading borrowed textbooks. He became an active writer of almanacs and was appointed by President George Washington to the District of Columbia Commission. He was the son of an ex-slave named Robert, whose wife, Mary Banneker, was the daughter of an Englishwoman and an African ex-slave. Because both of his parents were free, Benjamin escaped the wrath of slavery as well. He was taught to read by his white grandmother, Molly, and for a short time attended a small Quaker school. His early exploits included construction a wooden clock in his early 20s, despite having seen only one other timepiece in his life. In addition, Banneker taught himself astronomy and accurately forecasted lunar and solar eclipses. Banneker's talents and intelligence eventually came to the attention of the Ellicott brothers, industrialists who made their name and fortune by building a series of grist mills in the Baltimore area. In the 1770s, George Ellicott, a fellow mathematician and astronomer, loaned Banneker numerous books in both fields. In 1791, Banneker teamed up with Major Andrew Ellicott, an American surveyor, to map out a new national capital, Banneker's Almanac. Banneker's true acclaim, however, came from his almanac, which he published for 6 consecutive years, between 1792 and 1797. These almanacs included his own astronomical calculations as well as opinion pieces, literature, and medical and title information, among other things. Outside of his almanac, Banneker also published information on bees and calculated the cycle of the 17-year locust.
I am Julian Duckett, and for Black History, I have the honor of introducing Minister Malcolm X. Malcolm X was born Malcolm Little on May 19th, 1925 in Alma, Nebraska. Malcolm was the fourth of 8 children born in Louis, a homemaker, and Earl Little, a preacher, who was also an active member of the local chapter of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and ended support of Black National Leader Marcus Garvey. When my mother was pregnant with me, she told me later a party of hooded Ku Klux Klan riders galloped to our home. Malcolm later remembered brandishing their shotguns and rifles. They shouted for my father to come out. In 1929, a raucous bomb set their house on fire, and the town all-white emergency responders refused to do anything. The white police and firemen came and stood watching the house burn to the ground. Malcolm X later remembered, in 1931 things got much worse. Earl Little's dead body was discovered laid out on the Unincluded streetcar tracks. He was excelled academically and was well liked by his classmates, who elected him class president. However, he later said that he felt that his classmates treated him more like the class pet than a human being. The turning point in Malcolm X's childhood came in 1939 when his English teacher asked him what he wanted to be when he grew up, and he answered that he wanted to be a lawyer. His teacher responded, "One of the life's first needs is for us to be realistic. You need to think of something you can be. Why don't you plan on carpentry?" This phrase of Malcolm X's life came to a screeching halt in 1946 when he was arrested on charges of larceny and sentenced to 10 years in jail. To pass the time during his incarceration, Malcolm X read constantly, from devouring books from the prison library and attempted making up for the years of education he had missed dropping out of high school.
Harvey Woodson was born in 1875 in New Canton, Virginia, and is known as the father of Black history. As one of the first African Americans to receive a doctorate from Harvard, Woodson dedicated his career to the field of African American history and fought to establish Black History Month as a nationwide institution. He was the founder of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. Woodson also wrote many historical works, including the 1933 book, The Miseducation of the Negro. He died in Washington, D.C. in 1950.
My name is Tyler, and I'll be reading by Harriet Stowe. Harriet Stowe was an American-born woman who escaped from slavery in the South to become a leading pharmacist before the American Civil War. She was born in Maryland in 18 and successfully escaped slavery in 1849. She returned many times to rescue both family members and friends from the plantation system. Over the course of her life, she completed about 13 rescue missions. Journalwoman, as she was known, led hundreds to freedom in the North as the most famous conductor on the Underground Railroad. I'm fellow decade, and for Black History, I have the honor of introducing Ms. to the diaspora. You did not know you were Africa. When you set out to Africa, you did not know you were going because you did not know you were Africa. You did not
Hold on, Isabella.
That had to be reached was you. I could not have told you that some sun would come. Somewhere over the road, some would come a booking diamonds of you. The black continent. Somewhere over the road, you would not have believed my mouth. When I told you meeting you somewhere close to the heat of youth of the road. Liking my loyalty, liking belief. You smiled and you thanked me, but very little believed me. Here is some sun. Some. Now off into the place rough to reach, through drowsy, all unwilling to walk. Into the distance and dangers of him sending. The work that was done, to be done, to be done, to be done, Gwendolyn Brooks. Gwendolyn Elizabeth Brooks was born on June 7, 1917, in Topeka, Kansas. When Brooks was 6 weeks old, her family moved to Chicago, Illinois during the Great Migration. Then on, Chicago was her hometown. She went by the nickname Gwendy among her close friends. Brooks published her first poems in a children's magazine at the age of 13. By the time she was 60, she had compiled a profile of around 75 published poems. At 17, she started submitting her work to Lights and Shadows, the poetry column of Chicago Defender, an African-American newspaper. Her poems, many published while she attended Wilson Junior College, ranged in style from the traditional ballads and sonnets to poems using blues rhythms in free verse. Her characters were often drawn from the poor inner city. After failing to obtain a position with the Chicago Defender, Brooks took a series of secretarial jobs. Brooks' first book of poetry, A Street in Brazil, 1945, published by Harper and Row, earned instant critical acclaim. With her second book of poetry, Annie Ellen, 1950, she became the first African American to win the Pulitzer Prize of Poetry. For poetry. After President John F. Kennedy invited Brooks to read at a Library Congress festival in 1962, she began a second career teaching creative writing. She taught at Columbia College, Chicago, Northeast Illinois University, Chicago State University, Elmhurst College, Columbia University, Clay College of New York, and the University of Wisconsin-Madison. In 1939, Brooks married Henry Longton Blakely Jr. She had two children, Henry Longton Blakely III, born October 10, 1940, and Nora Blakely, born in 1951. She passed in 2000, but her amazing books and poems still live on.
Carson was born in Detroit, Michigan on September 18, 1951. His mother, though undereducated himself, pushed her sons to read and to believe in themselves. Carson went from being a poor student to receiving honors, and he eventually attended medical school as a doctor. He became the director of pediatric neurosurgery at Johns Hopkins Hospital at age 33 and became famous for his groundbreaking work separating conjoined twins. My quote is, I also came to realize that if people could make me angry, they could control me. Why should I give someone else such power over my life?
George Washington Carver was born into slavery around the year 1964 in Diamond Grove, Missouri. After completing his formative education at
Pepper.
Minneapolis High School. Carver went to
went on to receive his bachelor's and master's degrees from Iowa State
Agricultural
College. Following his time at college, Harvard began his 47-year tenure at Tuskegee Institute as a professor and head of its agriculture department. Its revolutionary work with alternative crops to cotton such as sweet potatoes, soybeans, and especially peanuts. Secured his legacy as one of America's most notable scientists. Harvard died on January 5th, 1943 in Tuskegee, Alabama. Quote, "Where there is no vision, there is no hope."
My name is Un-Inlcuded, and I will be reading to you about Garrett Morgan. With only an elementary school education, Garrett Morgan, born in Kentucky on March 4, 1877, began his career as a sewing machine mechanic. He went on to patent several inventions, including an improved sewing machine and traffic signal, a hair straightening product, and a respiratory device that would later provide the blueprint for WWI, which is World War I gas mask. Outside of his inventing career, Morgan was a member of the newly formed National Association for the Advancement of the Colored People, was active in the Cleveland Association of Colored Men, donated to Negro colleges, and opened all black country clubs. Additionally, in 1920, he launched the African American newspaper in the Cleveland Call. Morgan began developing glaucoma in 1943 and lost most of his sight as a result. The completion inventor died in Cleveland, Ohio on August 27, 1963, 1 month before anniversary reading for the Emancipation Proclamation, an event that he had been looking forward to. Just before his death, Morgan was honored by the U.S. government for his traffic-signal invention.
Hi, my name is Tiara Robinson, and I'm going to be reading about Rosa Parks. Civil rights activist Rosa Parks was born on February 4th, 1913 in Tuskegee, Alabama. Her refusal to surrender her seat to a white passenger on a Montgomery, Alabama bus sparked a citywide boycott. As a result of her courageous actions, the city of Montgomery had no choice but to lift the law requiring segregation on the public buses. Rosa Parks received many accolades during her lifetime, including the NAACP's highest award.
Hello, my name is Honesty Russell. I will be saying Harriet Beecher Stowe. Harriet Beecher Stowe was born on June 14th, 1811 in Litchfield, Connecticut. Her father, Leman Beecher, was a leading Congregationalist minister and the patriarch of a family committed to social justice. Stowe achieved national fame for her anti-slavery novel, Family Committed to Social. Uncle Tom's Cabin, which fainted the flames of sectionalism before the Civil War. Stowe died in Hartford, Connecticut on July 6, 1896. Quote, I did not write it, God wrote it. I merely did his dictation.
Yeah, you gonna lead the pledge?
Yes. I hereby promise to be unincluded, against negativity, and stand with my fellow unincluded club members, to handle any bullies or anyone who demonstrate they want to harm others.
I am. Somebody who knows that. If I can study hard, listen to my parents,
to my parents,
to my teachers,
I can achieve.
I am. Somebody who knows that self, controls self. Who controls self? I am. Somebody who knows how. Thankful and grateful.
To be thankful and grateful.
I am. Somebody. If I stay dedicated,
committed,
I can achieve
excellence.